Hello, everybody. It's Nancy. Good morning, almost good afternoon, and happy Thanksgiving to you, to your family. I am here. My plans for Thanksgiving have totally changed, and first time in probably my entire life that I'm not with my family, and it is a hard decision to make, and I'm just trying to embrace it all and to be with the current situation of our world, of my immediate life, and to just look at things for what they are, and thinking about things positively, and to really kind of just be with the decision that I made, and the reasons why I made the decision not to travel, and to take today to be thankful to all of you, so many people in my family, my friends, my business, my community, and just to be with myself. So, without traveling, I was able to take an amazing yoga class online early this morning, and do some things around my home, and actually cook for myself, because you know me, I love to cook. And I continued to make the dishes that I was going to bring to my family, and I decided to also make another one, and that's what I'm going to do with you here today. I love muffins, and I have a recipe for butternut squash cranberry muffins that I absolutely love, and I really wanted to make them. And last night I realized that I didn't have any almond meal. So I thought, okay, I'll just get up this morning after my yoga class, I'll just run over to some of the supermarkets. I thought for sure on Thanksgiving that there would be some that would be open for a few hours this morning, and it turned out not. So I started to think, what alternatives do I have? And that's kind of really what life is about, is just thinking that maybe you're going down this path and that something comes in your way. There's some kind of an obstruction, there's a detour, there's hundreds of other things that just prevent you from going in that direction. And so I was like, okay, so I got onto the computer this morning and kind of just Googled, I had chickpea flour, right? So a lot of you know that I love cooking with chickpea flour. So I just put in chickpea flour, cranberries. I thought I put in butternut squash, but it turns out I guess I didn't, which is fine. And I came up with this delicious recipe, cranberry orange muffins. It's grain-free. It happens to also be vegan. It comes from a woman's blog who I have just discovered, called Power Hungry. So all plant-based recipes. So I was like, cool, and I'm looking through the recipe, and I realized that it called for unsweetened applesauce, which I don't typically have in my house. So I went into my fridge. Luckily, I have lots of apples, and actually this time of the year, in the fall, it's a wonderful season to eat warm fruit, like warmed applesauce. So I just went and I made my own applesauce. And then I did start realizing that the other recipe that I had with the butternut squash, I probably could have used the butternut squash instead of the applesauce. But whatever, I had already gone ahead and made the applesauce. So I'm going to use the applesauce and just try this recipe as is. And then I started going through some of the other ingredients, and it called for grated orange zest. So I had actually bought a few oranges to use the zest in the cranberry clove chutney that I made last night. And so, oh, that's the oven preheating. So, so I was like, I already used all of that zest. What am I going to do? And then I remembered that often there are recipes that call for orange peel or orange zest. Don't always have oranges in my home. So I remembered some time ago I had bought a bag of orange peel and it was unopened. So cool, right? I am all set. So this is kind of, I guess, like my metaphor for life, is that like we have to, you know, we might have a recipe, we might have an idea of something that we want to happen, we may have a plan, and you know, when that can't be seen to fruition, what can we gather up from our own self that can help us move forward? We have all of the wisdom, we have all the tools that we really need, and that often we just have to give ourselves some time to quiet down, to turn inward, and to really search for those tools. So I think that I am all set. This looks like a super duper easy recipe, all going to go into a large bowl, and I'm going to whisk together some chickpea flour and some baking soda. It calls for 1.5 cups of chickpea flour. Looks like I only got 1/2 cup here, so we'll do 3 of these. I love chickpea flour because it has a just some added protein to it, just because of the chickpeas, and some extra fiber. So to me, I'd rather cook with this kind of flour than just like a wheat flour. Plus, I tend to cook wheat-free. I don't have to, but I just enjoy the flour alternatives. I think my body likes it also. So I'm just going to do 1 more of these, 1/2 cup. So we have 1.5 cups. I'm just kind of estimating here. There's actually, in 1/4 cup, there are 5 grams of protein in here, and 5 grams of dietary fiber. So it's actually pretty high for flour. Okay, so we have the chickpea flour, and then we're going to add in 2¼ teaspoons of baking powder. So I've got 1. I like to level that off a bit. Here's 1 and 2, and then I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon. Give that a little bit of stir. I'm supposed to whisk that together, and then some salt. So I've got 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I like to use my Himalayan pink salt. So I'm going to add that in. And then we're going to add in some of the wet liquids. A lot of times you do dry in one bowl and wet in another. But this recipe is calling for cleaning less dishes. So I can put it all in one. All right, so I have 1/2 cup of applesauce. Now when I made the applesauce, I just cut them into little slices, and there were 2 apples, and then I'm just picking out some of the skin. I kept the skin on, and so I did 2 apples. I did about 1.5 cups of water, and then I have a spice mix that has a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger, all powder. So I'm going to add the applesauce. And so I just shook a little bit of that spice mix in there. A lot of times when I make stewed apples, I'll put in dates and even some raisins, but this recipe called for unsweetened, so I didn't want to add any of that. Okay, so we have syrup. I didn't get the syrup out. So, just going to get my golden maple syrup. And this recipe looks like it's calling for 1/3 of a cup. So I wonder what you guys are making today. You know, being by myself, I could have opted out of just like not cooking at all. But I cooked up like 4 different dishes. Well, one of them I haven't cooked yet, so I'm super excited to try out this new Brussels sprout recipe. And, okay, so that's the maple syrup. And then we have some oil. We have 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. She said she used avocado oil. I happen to have some avocado oil, so I'm going to use that. So it was 2 tablespoons. Yeah, I like to check on the oil. So there's 1 tablespoon, and there's 2. Super delicious. And then I have the Zest, 1.5 teaspoons of the orange zest. Like I said, this is a really easy recipe. Probably harder just to get this bag open than making the actual muffins. And let's see, 1.5 teaspoons. All right, so I got my 1 teaspoon here. Give it a smell. It smells nice. I think it'd probably be better if it was fresh, but what are we gonna do? 1/2 teaspoon. All right. And then we're gonna add in fresh squeezed orange juice. So remember, I had some oranges that I had bought for making my cranberry sauce, and I was able to squeeze those out. And so I can use fresh squeeze. So it's calling for 1.5 tablespoons. So I got 1, and then I'm just gonna ballpark the 1/2 here. Move that out of the way. Let's see what is next. And then some vanilla. It's a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So we got a teaspoon here. I'm excited. I'm going to go hiking in Massachusetts tomorrow, and I'll be able to bring some muffins with me. All right, so we're going to stir all of this up. Gotta use this spoon. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stir this all up, and then I'll gently add in the cranberries. So you wanna mix all the ingredients first, and then kind of fold in your cranberries. So, hope you guys are all making something delicious. Everybody has sort of their favorite dishes for Thanksgiving. The other thing I was going to go out and get this morning, wow, this doesn't look like a whole lot. Interesting. Were some potatoes, because I realized I was just craving mashed potatoes, and I don't have any. And I don't have any because the stores were closed. So I was also going to buy myself some fresh flowers. Like, I really just kind of wanted to take care of myself today. I took a wonderful, like, really long shower, and, you know, not everybody's like shampooing their hair these days all the time. So I did that. I even put on a little makeup, and I got dressed, and I set my table up. I'm gonna find some candles, and you know, just gonna give myself all the loving that I can today. It'll make me feel good. Okay, so then we're going to gently stir in the cranberries. The cranberries, this recipe is looking for 1 to 1/4 cups fresh. So let's see if I can grab my measuring. I did find my cup. It's funny, it doesn't look like a lot of batter, but I probably just fill these muffins up like halfway. I rinsed these out yesterday. So we have 1 cup that's going in. I mean, this is the best time of the year, right, to get your fresh cranberries. And it's nice that I really wanted to use these up. Now we just need 1/4 cup, so that's probably 1/4. I got a little bit left, so I'll have to throw these in my roasted vegetables later. So now we're just going to fold this in. You don't want to mix up the batter too much. It definitely got a little stiff. Ooh, lots of cranberries. So this is going to be exciting. All right, so divide batter evenly between prepared muffin cups. It says it makes 12 muffins, so let me go get my cups and my tins here. And let's see, I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Make sure we spread those cranberries out. That's the tricky part, right? You want to make sure that each muffin gets a lot of cranberry. Whoops. There we go. That looks like it could use a little bit more. Now I'm just going to divide this up. Looks like it bakes for maybe 20-25 minutes. And voila, I think this will be a great part of my lunch today. I'll have to test them out. And it'll be interesting to see if it makes 12. That's okay, I probably don't need 12 muffins, but I'll be giving some of these away. Or I could probably freeze them. And let's see, I might be a little short. So let's see, I'm going to fill up some of these other tins before I go ahead and make 12. Well, maybe I can make 12. It's a little bit, this one's a little bit shy. Looks like I made 11. Pretty close, right? And that one, I'm gonna scrape up the remains of this. We'll here, top off that one. Well, that one's a little small, but I think overall, I'll just scrape a little bit more in this one so we don't feel like somebody's gonna get a tiny little muffin. All right, so these are now ready to go into the oven. And yeah, this is the cranberry orange muffin from a blog website called Power Hungry, where you can find all different kinds of plant-based recipes. And so, yeah, if you want to come cook with me, check out my website, peaksandposes.com. And I'm going to be doing a holiday cooking workshop with the Hopkinton Library in December. I think it's December 16th. And it's going to be awesome because we're going to be making like 2 different holiday treats, mostly using a lot of superfoods, particularly cacao. and using some more natural sugars and ingredients that aren't going to just sort of give you that like bleh feeling. So I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm just putting them down on the bottom rack, and I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. And I will post a picture later and show you how they all look and taste. Have an awesome day.